My name is Danny Fenton and I'm an aeromodeller and an engineer. Join me on a fascinating journey where I show you some of the techniques used in scale aeromodelling. Hello again modellers, this is just going to be a quick video to show you how I made this fairing. Now I already did this once and unfortunately between when I made it several months ago and now I've put it somewhere and I really can't find it anywhere. How can anybody be so stupid? But I'm just getting old, I think. Anyway, I'm sure you've all probably done the same thing, where you put something somewhere and you can't find it. And what would normally happen is, you just get on with something else, and eventually it'd turn up. But alas, it hasn't. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I made it again. But this time, I've learned a few lessons from the first one. And instead of doing it in 4 pieces, well actually 3 pieces, as I did last time, I've made it in 1 piece. So watch the video and I'll show you how to do an easy fairing that is incredibly light. All right? And then lastly, one of the other tools that's really good is your finger. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting back until I see the edge of the line. I'm trying to keep this line as per the line that's drawn on the fuselage. And there I've gone too far, you see, so you just put a bit back. And then you can cut slightly further away again. Oops, a bit further, too far away. What I can also do is squeeze down and thin it out, because it needs to be thinner anyway, which forces it down this way. I'll keep having to revisit this area anyway to make sure I am somewhere near the line still. You can just push it gently if you can't quite see the line, just until you do see the line. Same along here, although the line on this side I think almost vanished. That's the first layer on. So all we do now is just keep piling it on. I'm going to put 3 layers on, and I'm going to do both sides at the same time. So there we have it. I've put 4 layers of 25-gram cloth all the way down the sides and wrapped it over the top and over the spine. So where you see the blue plasticine, obviously the fiberglass won't stick. Well, it does, but you can scrape the fiberglass and plasticine apart. The edges of the plasticine have clear packing tape applied to the balsa so that the glass won't stick to that. Well, shouldn't stick too vigorously, shall we say, and we should be able to lift it off. So we'll leave that for a day to set, and then we'll try and pop it off. What I'm trying to achieve is a one-piece part. That's the object of the exercise, just to see if it can be done. So let's see tomorrow. Well, it's been overnight. It's not been 24 hours yet. It's probably been 18 hours. So I'm going to make an attempt to get the glass off the model. This is always a very stressful bit, but we'll start. I've already teased this end up and it started to move, so I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to move forwards, gently tugging. Now I expect the plasticine to come away from the model and stay with the glass. You can see the glass is not stuck to the parcel tape at all, which is what I expected. And there we have it. So with a bit of tidying up, and as you can see the plasticine has completely come away from the model. So we've now got to dig all this plasticine out. I'm going to leave it for another few hours just to, it's not soft but it's not as rigid as I would like. So I think I'm going to leave it just for a little while, just like that, for another few hours. While I get on with another bit. I'm going to do some more of this plasticine moulding because I really like the way it works, and I'm finding it's much nicer than carving from blocks of balsa and then glassing that. This is much easier. So I'm going to have a go at making the scoops for the cowl out of plasticine, and then we'll mould those. I think you can see that's a very quick and easy method for making what is a very complex shape. This will now get trimmed down to size, and we'll fit it on the model, and we'll actually glue it onto the model, but we need to cut it across here. This is a separate panel to this piece. So we'll cut those end pieces off, and then these will be trimmed very close to the right shape, and they'll be affixed permanently to the tailplane section, whereas this is connected to the fuselage section. If you recall, the tailplane comes off of this model, so I need to be able to remove those, and there is a panel line right there to do that. There is also a panel line here, so whether I cut it here and then misalign it slightly so that it is clearly a panel line, I don't know yet, but we'll think about that. Then once all of this is actually attached to the fuselage and solid, then we can sand the outer face of it to get rid of the slight marks that we've got. There's nothing much. Now the beauty of the Chipmunk, this is an aluminium panel, which is made, I think there's another line through here somewhere as well, which we'll have to simulate. But the beauty of the Chipmunk is the panels are made of aluminium, and they've been bashed by hand, and nearly all the Chipmunks are fairly old now. Fairly old, he says. 70, 80, 90 years old. So the panels are pretty well bashed. So I like the slightly ripply effect that I've got on this. It's not disastrous, but it's nice, and I'm going to continue that through to the rest of the model. I think you'll see later on in the videos where I'm going to make the fuselage as smooth as I can and as perfect as I can, and then I'm going to try and undo a lot of that and put wrinkles and ripples into the aluminium skin. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but that'll be another video. So after 20 minutes of scraping and scratching, I've managed to get most of the plasticine out. Now, if you remember when I made this the first time around, I had a great deal of trouble finding a chemical that might get the rest of it out. And somebody suggested to me that lighter fluid might do it. So I'm going to give it a shot. Put a little bit on the cloth, and we'll try a bit up this end and just see what happens. Well, it doesn't seem to be affecting the glass. I'm not sure if it really is removing the plasticine or whether it's just the act of wiping with the cloth that's doing it. But it is coming away, and it doesn't appear to be affecting the glass fibre itself, which is kind of important. I'm not going to worry about the edges too much because this is yet to be trimmed down, so it may well be that these bits that have still got a little bit of plasticine will actually get trimmed off, so it won't really matter. I think that'll do. It's come out really well. Really pleased with that. So with a bit of trimming down, it's not to the final shape, there's still a bit to lose. We're down to 11.5 grams, which I'm really pleased with that. This is all on the tail end of the aircraft, right at the rear, so the minimum amount of weight you add to the tail is very important. If you've got, say, a 10-to-1 moment between the CG, so what's in front of the CG and what's behind it, it's good rule of thumb, 10-to-1. If you add a gram at the tail, you'll need to add 10 grams at the nose to keep the CG right. So anything you can save on the rear end by doing things like this is well worth it. Okay, and here is the fairing just placed on top of the fuselage. Not fully trimmed down yet, but you get the idea. And that weighs just 11.5 grams at the moment. I still think it'd be about 10 grams by the time it's all trimmed. So I'm really pleased with that, very pleased, and you can see it's a perfect fit. Obviously it will be because it was moulded straight off the fuselage. When the edges are glued down, that'll be really strong. Although it's really flimsy, if it's glued on all the contact points, that'll be really quite rugged and more than man enough to do what we need it to do. Okay, so if you've enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.